y'all, welcome back to this week's episode of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, Recruiting in Yoga Pants. All right, y'all, this week I'm going to tackle one of the most common complaints I hear from my beloved job-seeking community. Why did a recruiter ask for my resume and then never respond? Let's talk about it. So here's the thing. Now, again, like everything else I say on this channel, I cannot speak for the entire industry at large. I promise you that there's going to be some jackass out there who's going to say, that's not at all how we do it at my company, and I would never. I know, you're a very special unicorn, good for you. But here's the reality. More often than not, this specific topic, this specific issue that job seekers run into is due to volume on the recruiter's part. Okay, so for example, a lot of recruiters will still do this volume-based search. So I need a software engineer with experience in Java who lives within 50 miles of my company's headquarters and who has worked in big tech, as an example. Okay, so that search is going to look like those keywords, you know, Java, distributed systems, 3+ years engineering in this field, previous companies or one of these, those kinds of things. And so we're running that search, and maybe we're doing that in LinkedIn, or maybe we're smart and using our database, whatever, but we're going to come up with a list of prospects. And most recruiters will tell you that it's a numbers game. And the more people I message, the more likely I am to get a response. Now, me being an oddball weirdo will tell you, actually, if you send less messages but spend more time on them, you'll actually get better, more accurate responses. But what do I know? That is a debate for another time, friends. But here's what happens. So you are on a list with 100 of your closest friends and colleagues, and you are all getting the same email. And it goes a little something like this. Hello, person. My name is Amy, and I'm a recruiter for ABC Company. I came across your background, and I think you'd be a great fit for a role that I'm working on. My client is looking for a strong software engineer with at least 3 years of experience and knowledge of Java and C# and has worked in a distributed systems environment. Does that sound like you? Send me your resume right away. And some of you do. Look, I hate that message. I get variations of it myself as a recruiter. And the reality is, you know, that yields maybe a 20% response rate, right? There's going to be some people that are going to take the bait and yeah, hey, here's my resume, you know, and the recruiters are counting on that. They're counting on, man, if I send 100 emails, I'm going to get 20 to 25 responses. But then what happens? I'm going to look through those 20 to 25 responses, and I'm probably going to narrow it down even further and maybe only call 10 to 15. And out of those 10 to 15, maybe I'm going to then submit 6 or 7. And out of those 6 or 7, my client's maybe only going to interview 3. Okay? That, in a lot of places, is the harsh reality of how outbound recruiting and sourcing happens. I'm not saying all the time, I'm not saying every recruiter, but it is damn sure common enough that y'all in the job seeking community are experiencing this because you're one that's replying with your resume and then you're not getting a call back. You're not getting the next step. You're not even getting a thanks but no thanks. And it's frustrating. I get it. So here's what I want you to do instead. The first thing I want you to do is look at that email carefully and that message and ask yourself a simple question. Is this outreach targeted to me? Did they use my name? Did they spell my name right? That's a good indicator, right? Did they reference something that is specific only to me? Hey, I saw that you volunteer with this nonprofit. That's so cool. I love dogs too. Hey, your background specifically at XYZ company really stood out for this reason. There's all kinds of things that if recruiters just take 15 seconds to actually look at your profile, they can actually use and work into that email and outreach to make it feel personalized. So if the recruiter has done that, respond. You have a better chance of actually building rapport and relationship with that person if they have taken the time to send the right message up front. So that's number one. The second thing, a lot of recruiters will lead with send me your resume. And a lot of job seekers will do it. Don't do it. Here's why. We have talked about, until we are blue in the face, the importance of targeting your resume to the role that you want to be considered for. Why on earth a recruiter is leading with, hey, send me your resume, when you have not had an opportunity to review a job description or think about the bells and whistles that a client might be looking for or how to optimize said resume for the audience? Why would y'all do that? You know it's not going to work. I've told you that 80 billion times. So instead of responding with your resume, respond with something like this. Thank you so much for getting in touch with me. I would love to learn more about what you're working on. I know how important it is that the hiring manager sees things on my resume that are going to show that I would be a great fit for the problem they're trying to solve. Can we set up a call, or can you send me more information about the position so that way I can adjust my resume to fit the audience that will be reading it? Thanks so much. Here's my availability. Amy Miller. Okay? Do you see the difference there? One is you're just spamming right back. And the other is, hey, let's approach this thoughtfully. I want to make sure if this is a good fit that I'm doing my due diligence and I'm putting my best foot forward and the right information and an optimized resume. And a recruiter who is serious about your candidacy and really believes that you'd be a good fit for their client is going to be all over that. Okay? So don't be afraid to test your recruiters that are reaching out to you. Do it. Hold me accountable. Hold them accountable. If we're serious about building the right pipeline for our clients, as we should be, then we owe it to you in the job seeking community and the population at large to give you information that you can act on, to give you enough data about a potential position for you to not only decide if it is worth your time going through the interview process, but if it is also a good use of your time to do the work up front to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. Okay? So I'm going to leave y'all with that. I'm going to update my recruiter FAQs so there will be more specific to this particular topic in those FAQs. So request those. Even if you've already have them, you may want to get the updated version. Amy at recruitinginyogapants.com, recruiter FAQs in the subject line. Sherman will send you an auto response, which is going to include everything we talked about here and a little bit more. So I hope that helps y'all. I really want you to use your time wisely, and I don't want you blasting your resume to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that asks, because they may not be that serious. This is one way that you can tell. All right, y'all. As always, leave me a comment, drop me a note. Let me know if you have questions or if there's anything else on this topic that we should be talking about, and we will see you next week.